Good day, folks. This is Greg Judy at Green Pastures Farm. Today, Connor and I just put a paddock division in. We went down in a ditch here. This is actually going to be for sheep. And just to kind of give you a perspective of how tall and lush this forage is, Connor's standing out there in our sheep division we just put in, and that wire is about at 10 to 12 inches. It's the Powerflex poly braid, which I really like. It's a mixed steel, they call it. There's 6 steel strands in there and 3 copper, and it is braided. Folks, stay away from polywire. Polywire is, of course, a lot cheaper alternative, but it doesn't last very long. This poly braid, it is the best there is, and there's several different companies that make it. I've used this one. This is the one that has lasted the best for us, so that's the one I'm going to use. But it's 1,320 foot in a roll of it, and you can fill up a geared reel, a Terragate reel with it, and put some old Brian posts, and you're in the fencing business. Connor, how tall are you?
I'm about 5'8".
5'8"?
Yes, sir.
And that seed head there, it's hitting you right there around your chin, your nose.
A little bit.
And what's that on the very end of it right there? Can
That's
you pop it?
Gamma seed.
What's it look like up close? Okay. So birds, we're seeing birds that are eating that. It's a little bitty rectangular square seed, and the birds eat that, and then they're pooping it out across our farms. And so we're getting a lot of natural reseeding of the eastern gamma. The last time this was grazed, we had sheep in here. And I think, did we split it into 3 paddocks, do you remember?
No, we split it like this.
Right down the middle, okay. So this is an 8-acre bottom, and we got 4 acres on each side. And so the sheep will be in here. We'll look at it, but we know we can get 2 days per side. Of course, we're going to have a smaller flock when they come back in here.
Yep.
So you explain kind of what we did up here this morning in preparation for sheep days, which is coming up Friday and Saturday of this week.
So this morning we put a puppy pen up there. It's got some shade over the top. We put some netting around it, and because we've got some more puppies coming in that we're going to be selling with the sheep. Yesterday we put up some shade in the corral because we've got that one shade tree up there, but the rest of it's pretty open to the elements, and so it's supposed to be, I mean, it is really hot this week.
Yeah.
So we're going to be leaving them in there for probably 2 or 3 days. So they definitely needed some shade up there, so we had to put that in there with tarps and fiberglass rods and stuff. I
think we got a really nice condominium set up here for them. Some of those pens, well, where the rams will be, we've got probably 80% of that pen covered with tarps.
Mm-hmm. And then we even put it on the side so that the afternoon sun.
Yeah, the afternoon sun can't get them. Folks, why do we go through all that rigmarole just to make sure our animals are comfortable? Well, as a stockman, you should feel good about yourself if your animals on a 100-degree day can get underneath some shade and they got clean water, they've got some dry hay there to chew on, and most of them are going to go out of there in 2 days. I mean, we're going to probably get rid of half of them on Friday. But if you put them up in that corral, one shade tree, to me, that's just not humane. And you need to put yourself in the shoes of your animals. I think that's a good practice, Connor. Yeah. And I try and teach that to you all when you come here. Always treat your animals like you'd like to be treated.
Right.
And what happens when you do that?
I mean, they perform well. And people see it too, like you can see it. The animals are happy, you're happier, because I think it wears on you if you put animals in a situation that is unhealthy for them and inhumane.
Yes.
Because it just affects your mindset unless you just numb it out. But I don't know, I can't do that.
I can't. I saw a guy on YouTube the other day that had put a bunch of cattle up in a lot. He's complaining about the rain. Oh, it rains. We got to put them up in a lot. And I mean, those cattle were in mud up to their belly. And they were just covered in mud. And I'm like, what were you thinking? That's just not good stockmanship. He was more concerned about tearing his pastures up. Well, if you move them, and they were small cattle, they're not going to tear your pastures up. You just got to move them. You don't put them up in a darn up in a mud lot and give them a bale of hay. It looked like soup in there. It's just awful. So, do you see any soup around here, Connor?
I think you'd be hard pressed to find some.
Yeah, so the grass we're standing in here, this is Eastern Gamma grass. Okay, this was planted back in 1990. Let me get my date right. About 1994, and this is our lifetime lease farm. And this is kind of how I first met his parents. It was over a gamma grass field day that Dan Shepard held down up at Clifton Hill, Missouri. At one time, Dan Shepard was the biggest Eastern gamma grass seed producer in the United States. And he is no longer producing it. It's kind of sad. I think he went back to cropping. But anyway, it doesn't matter. He raised a lot of seed, and that's where I met this guy at. And his dad was Tom. Tom and Dee was Steve's dad and mom. They sat on the same wagon of Jan and I. And anyway, it's kind of neat how things go in circles like that. But I love this bottom. It is a native warm season grass. We've had the cattle in here behind us, and we've grazed this early in the year one time with cows. And with our timing here, if we don't graze this too hard, by the time we come around with the cattle, this will probably be ready to graze again. And we've got another field of it right behind us over here. This was an old CRP field. It's got a lot of gamma in it. So we're anxiously waiting to see what's going to happen when we graze this off. Eastern gamma comes screaming back. When it gets hot, you can graze it every 30 days. So the sheep up there on that hillside, you can see them in the distance. I'll zoom in on them. There you can see them. There's about, well, the rams aren't in there, of course, so there's, I don't know, 250 head up there, something like that. Those are all going to be locked into the corral Friday morning, and we'll take the ewe lambs off. And then the main ewes, they're going to be walked right down this lane by that road up there, and they're going to be dumped into here. So we've already got their paddock set up for them. 2 days here, we'll roll this wire up, and then they get this side of the paddock, then they go across the road. But look at the leaves on that. Can you just find one that hasn't been chewed on and just nip it off at the very bottom? There you go. And just kind of give you an example of solar energy. And we're putting this leaf, there you go. Look at that. That's close to 3 foot.
Yeah, it's almost my wingspan.
Yeah, look at that. Beautiful. Sheep will come in here, they're going to eat about from where my finger is to Connor's hand there. They're not going to touch this part down here. Okay, and that's what allows it to grow back so quickly. But one of the things that we really, you got to focus on gamma grass is don't overgraze it, because if you take it down lower than 8 inches, you will weaken the stand severely, and you might even take a chance of killing it out. But once you plant this stuff, and you take care of it, you never have to plant it again in your whole life. So it's a one-time deal. It's a perennial, it comes back every year. It does respond well to rest and nitrogen. Our source of nitrogen, of course, is the manure from the sheep and the cattle. But look at that. Oh, my God, it's hard to walk through here, Connor.
Pretty thick.
And you look at that wire up through there, you think there's no way that's going to keep sheep in.
Yeah, it
does. It does.
I tried to put it in the four-wheeler tracks, you know,
yeah,
to help them see it, but
yep,
you know, just
I think that helps, because see, they're going to see that track over there
right
first, and then they're going to see this track. But my goodness. So with cattle posts, when we're putting in fence for cattle, we can go 60 to 80 feet. With sheep, you don't want to go much more than 16 feet between that post and this post. There's one that's probably 12. That's fine. You get into ditches like we did over there, you might want to go, 3 or 4 feet. But our success with one wire sheep, folks, is the post. There's a bunch of them. And sheep can, as they're going down through here grazing, they can see that line of posts. They know there's a fence there, and they know there's a predator in there that's going to bite them. And they don't want to do that. But what's amazing, I think, still about these sheep is how much we're keeping them with such a low voltage.
Oh yeah.
Because we just put the meter on up there. What did we have?
It was 2.1.
2.1 kV.
Yeah.
And those darn sheep are staying in.
They know it. They know it hurts.
They know it hurts.
Even when it won't hurt.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah. So that's one of our action items is we're all going to gang up on this stuff. We'll take weed eaters and we'll just start on one side of the farm and just try and get the worst of it. And that'll probably bring it up to 6 or 7. And, you know, 3 people on weed eaters, you can do that in probably half a day. And it doesn't kill anybody. Everybody gets a good workout. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. We're getting ready for sheep days, and we're excited to get customers coming in here, and we're going to be selling a ton of guard dogs and ewe lambs, ram lambs, and withers. So yeah, we'll probably, maybe if we have time, if we're not too busy, we might do a couple of videos on that. Everyone have a good one, and we'll see you next time. Hit that subscribe button on the way out.